People like me have defended Brendan Peterson for a long time. Oh, Peterson has saved us in other games, so we should cut him some slack because everyone makes mistakes. But there comes a point where your mistakes are just too much, and there comes a point where it's unfair to other players like Bruce Bvuma for you to keep on making mistakes and for him to not even make the match day squad because you are the preferred goalkeeper, but you're actually not doing your job. So Peterson should go to the bench and sit there for a while and sort his things out. The other mistake, obviously, that happened was Mtutuzi Shabalala, and then it led to a goal. But there is more to that than what we just saw in the final movements because that goal was a long time coming, and we're going to look at how Arrows ended up beating Kaizer Chiefs and what Kaizer Chiefs could have done better, and the things that Kevin Johnson actually managed to do well. Hello and welcome to Kosi Nation Fan TV. I am Bilo, I am your host, and this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Kosi Football Club. Starting with the lineup, which was pretty much almost what I predicted, except that Hlanti was at left back and not Mashiane. And as a number 9, we had Christian Saile, and as a winger, we had Mtutuzi Mtanzane. Mtutuzi Shabalala, I mean, which I was happy about because Mtutuzi Shabalala, for the most part last season, was our great player. Like, he was the best player that we had, and yet, beginning of the season, he was benched, which did not make any sense to me. And if you watch Mtutuzi Shabalala, except for that mistake that he made, did he look like a kid who looks like he needed to be protected? No, he didn't. He looked like a player who wanted to express himself, but to also help the team in playing the ball and creating dangerous opportunities by taking on players and forcing them to retreat and pick up the passes that he needs to pick, or maybe just take on a person and be in a more advanced position. But let's take it a few steps back and look at our defensive setup. Our defensive setup is something that we've always talked about. So when one fullback attacks, for example, if Frosler overlaps, then Hlanti will stay back and then we'll have a back three of Ngobo, Titloko, and Hlanti attacking into midfield or just making a back three. What Maputi Kaizer then saw with Kaizer Chiefs is that he realized that, okay, I am going to attack the right-hand side, which is where Frosler usually vacates the position, because he knows that he's the one who's more offensive. Yes, Hlanti goes up front as well, but Frosler does it much more often. Instructions from the coach. So I saw him in the first half. He was so mad because he was busy telling Klolani to make the run into the space that is vacated or was getting vacated by Riff Frosler for a lot of times. And when he wasn't doing that, he got angry with him. And at halftime, Maputi Kaizer actually took out Klolani. And I was like, okay, he has seen our weakness. And he had a player who wasn't executing his plan. And then now he brought on another player. And then it worked for them. And when they got that goal, actually, I looked at it and I thought Ngobo should have done better. Because you have a right-footed player coming from the left-hand side, cutting into his strong foot. This is the thing that defenders are told all the time. Show the player to the touchline. Show them to their weak foot, because now it's essentially 2v1 because it's you and the touchline. And when it tries to come back in, you are there, but it can't go outside any further because there's a goal line. But Ngobo lets the player cut into his strong foot, and by doing that, he's actually making the player get more options because ends up passing the ball across, and then who scores? Obviously, it's Mutizwa. He likes scoring against Chiefs. He scores, it's a goal. So it's things like that I feel like, yes, there is coaching that needs to be done, but also me as Nkomo, a non-professional player, I know this thing that you don't allow the player to cut in to their strong foot. Obviously, it's easy said than done, but I see it happening way too many times, and it kind of worries me because if we keep on doing that, players are going to keep on cutting to their strong foot and then are going to end up hitting Kaizer Chiefs. Anyways, we move from that because that's not all there was. What I liked about Kevin Johnson's midfield is that, yes, we were playing Matt, Castillo, and Mteto, and a lot of people have been saying, no, you shouldn't play those three players together. I agree and disagree. Hear me out. So let's say you are playing against a team like Mamelodi Sundowns, even Arrows, who are high-flying right now. In midfield, you're going to need a player who's obviously going to sit and protect the defenders, which is Mteto. You're also going to need a player like Castillo, who's creative and also makes late runs into the box. You're also going to need a player who, like Mart when he's used in the right way, which is basically he's a number 8, and number 8 in some other teams, it depends which team you're looking at, are not required really to be the most creative player in the field. That's a job of a number 10. And Matt, what he does well, or should be doing well rather, is winning the ball back. He does that part well, and controlling the tempo of the game, which people don't like, because when they see Matt playing these safe passes, gets the ball, wins the ball back, and then he finds the easiest pass or calms the game down if the game is too fast. That's the job of the number 8 in a way. But now, yesterday I saw that Matt was being played as a number 10, and Castillo was the one who was deeper than Matt. And I don't understand that, because Matt is not creative. I will say that Matt is not a creative player, so you can't be playing him as a number 10, because he just simply won't do that for you. And Castillo, the one who's kind of more creative than Matt, is also being the one who's played much deeper. And in that way, you are also taking out another goal scoring threat from us, because if Castillo is playing deeper, then you are going to have a problem. From a defensive perspective, the setup did work, because Arrows, every time they were being pushed wide and trying to attack us from wide, because in our midfield we were so compact, which was helped by the fact that, as much as I hated to see Dolly playing as a winger once again, because I always say he's a better number 10, what the coach did with them, with Dolly and with Mtutuzi Shabalala, is the fact that in most cases when we're defending, they would tuck in and kind of make a midfield 5. In that way, Arrows were forced to go wide, and then in that case, that's when now either Mtetwa or Castillo would then go wide and help the fullbacks in trying to win the ball back. So in a way, they kind of managed to stop the threat of Arrows going through our middle, which was great, obviously. But when we were going forward, also the other thing, and when we were going forward, what did work for us is the fact that Mtutuzi Shabalala, when we have the ball, he can always tuck into midfield. We become a midfield 4, allow Hlandi to overlap wide. Same thing, Dolly could do that. Tuck into midfield, allow Frosler to overload wide. And now all of a sudden we have 5 players in our midfield. We still have width that is provided by our fullbacks, and we can still have a striker in our box. And Usailo was not required to drop into midfield as much as we're seeing with our strikers and Nzeki. So in the way that our midfield was functioning and how we're creating opportunities, because we have a lot of people in midfield, so we did not need to run or rush those long passes, because players are compact and close to each other. So they'll play the ball to Mtu plays a 1-2 with Castillo or Matt, and then the ball is played wide, but Mtu is there supporting, and then there's Dolly close enough to him to support the ball, Matt here, and then we're just moving the ball much better and with purpose, because that's the most important thing. If you just have the ball for vibes and you're not creating chances, then it's useless. It's better if you have people in the midfield who are going to allow you to string those passes and get the ball into dangerous areas. Because what we saw a lot of times with Tseg is that we were keeping the ball, but where? In non-threatening areas, and there was a problem because we did not do anything with that ball after that. So that was great in how we set up our midfield. The problem that I had up front is the fact that you're playing Saile as a number 9. Why are you playing Saile as a number 9? Because Saile is a player who doesn't like playing with his back against the goal. He's a striker who wants to get the ball, face the defender, take the defender on, cut into his strong foot, and then take a shot or maybe pass the ball. But being played as a number 9, he was kind of underutilized. Speaking of things that are underutilized, it's that like button. Please do like the video so that YouTube can spread it to more people like you. Also utilize the subscribe button to subscribe to the channel and help me reach more people like you. If you're not a member, also please just join the membership. It's only 20 rands. You get priority replies to your comments and member shoutouts. Now let's move on to the second half, where obviously the coach kind of lost his plot in a way, because Klolana was out and then they were now utilizing our full backside, Gafrosla, to kind of attack us. Secondly, I don't understand what's with this pandemic with Kaizer Chiefs coaches this year, even last year with Zwan. Well, arguably with Zwane, someone will say we didn't have options, but it did keep Caleb at times where there was Duba on the bench. This time around though, we take out Saile, which is like, what? Why are you taking out Saile, someone who can also be a goal threat in terms of aerial ability? But secondly, when you do take him out, fine, Mtatum keep. Why are you not bringing in another striker who's the like for like Gonzalez, who's going to be the one who is the target man and you're going to bounce the ball off of him? By the way, while we're here talking about strikers, I don't know for the life of me why Ranga wasn't played yesterday. Had a brilliant game against Mazulu, and comes to this game, he's not even in the bench, and we did not get any information about him being injured. Yes, I know it's a new coach, and the coach has his own preferences, but also some of the players that he kept, it's because of the fact that they were already playing under Ntsegi. So why not keep someone who was also playing under Ntsegi, who just also happened to have played very good, right? And is a natural number 9, but you are going to not play him. I didn't understand that. So you're taking out our target man. You're not bringing anyone to directly replace him. Instead, you are bringing Potsano, who's not going to give you any aerial threat at all, but someone who you are going to depend on to run. That field was not for running because it was wet. So Potsane in his pace is not going to help you do anything. But what you are going to need, you are going to need a player like Samgelo Zwane. You are going to need a player like Mshini, because those two players, what they give you, one with Samgelo Zwane is that physicality in midfield, and also the ability to keep the ball, take on some players and pick the right passes. Also, Mshini can take the ball and can also take shots. Both of them can do that. But Potsane is a dribbler who likes to take the ball and start running with it and play crosses. The field was not going to allow that. And because of that, it did not have much impact. Fine, we end up bringing on Matlo, who also didn't have much of an impact in the game. I don't know why the coach eventually then he decides to bring Gonzalez in the game, but I just think he got his subs really wrong and really late. So that's one thing that we need to work on going to the next game. But what did you think about yesterday's game? Let me know down on the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals Alpelumoya.